You did this.
Here we go.
You did the stitch where you're reacting to this man trying to toughen his son up by kicking him in the ribs. And I'm like, this son of a bitch is genius. I thought you were going to get torched. And like everybody's like, book. I can relate to that because when I watched it, I said, Shawn, are you raising a strong young man? Like, I'm not going to kick mine in the rib cage. Walk me through the journey of the book.
So many young guys have been coming to see me and they have no guides. Guys in their 20s have been tossed aside. That pisses me off. And so I thought, all right, well, if they want a book, I'm going to write something for a group that has been forgotten. Or worse, like they've been told, we don't really need you.
I mean, look what's going on in the world right now. All the shootings, everything. And a lot of them points to like not having a present father figure. This is a big deal.
It's heartbreaking because most of the comments that come from women, they're literally asking, please help. How do I raise my son on my own? And then how do I get him around father figures?
What up, everybody? We are back with another episode of The Determined Society. Before I introduce today's guest, I want to remind you, yes, once again, I need you to go to thedeterminedsociety.com, sign up for our newsletter and get free access to our school account where there's gonna be a lot of coaching there for free, behind the scenes, and a lot of different things that you don't see on the social platforms, and the opportunity to be locked in with our newsletter every single week that will give you insight on amazing episodes like our guest today, my boy Trey Tucker. Listen, this guy, I ran into him on Instagram. He was doing these podcast ratings and he'd flash the big shows across the screen and he'd rate them and tell them why he gave him that rating. And I just instantly loved this man because that's a brave thing to do. But what I learned about him is that his mind worked differently than everybody else's. He rated shows based on the amount of value that he was getting or the value that was presented to the audience and not what the internet wanted him to say. So I truly appreciated him. But I got, again, with me, my boy Trey. And listen, he is an amazing dude. He is a therapist and just an awesome guy. Even though he went to the University of Florida, I'm not going to hold it against him. But, you know, you guys are going to love this conversation today. And he recently came out with a book, Tough Enough. And I do have it in my hands and I'm super blessed to have it. It's about honing your habits, cultivate purpose, and forge genuine strength. And that, you know, the genuine strength thing is something that I think is really needed today. But man, let's get into it. Welcome to the show, dude.
Thank you, brother. Good to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
Dude, come on, man. You drove all the way from Nashville just to see little old me, man.
Exactly. Little old you, whatever.
No, dude, I tell you what, when guests come from wherever they're at to actually sit down with me, it makes me feel so good because I remember a time when they wouldn't.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, so thank you for being here, dude.
Hey, thank you for having me. But you're right. That the effort to make face-to-face interaction, whether it's for a show or any sort of relationship, and that resonates with people because face-to-face is so rare anymore.
Yeah, dude, it is, man. COVID screwed all that up.
It did.
It sure did.
It did.
But it helped out in a lot of ways,
That's
right?
True.
It got people to be home, and corporations learned that their employees can make money at being home. And they got this nice little hybrid work situation that a lot of people have now. So it works. But listen, man, for the audience that doesn't know about you, why don't you walk them through a brief 50,000 foot level of your background, what you're doing and where you're going?
Yeah. So I am a therapist now, but I wasn't always. I started out in the corporate world and learned a ton, met some amazing people, some amazing mentors, but every day it just felt empty. It just felt like I was pursuing something that didn't really have meaning, fulfillment to it. And so I jump into education, start teaching and coaching. And then as I start looking back, I'm thinking, okay, these students are bringing me stuff that I don't really know how to help them with, you know, deeper life questions. Looking back, even from middle school on, I always loved to listen more than talk. And I always loved figuring out like what makes somebody tick. Like, why did that guy get so successful? And then like, for example, there's a new Elvis movie out. I was always fascinated with Elvis because he was like one of those guys, like he made it to the apex and then he tore it all down. Like, what's that? How did that happen? So I just always got fascinated by reading biographies and watching documentaries, just figuring out why people did what they did. And so like a dummy, it finally hit me like, I need to be a therapist. So I go back mid-career, get the counseling masters, and ever since I have no problems of my own, because like I can fix them all just like that.
I wish it worked like that, right?
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
The little secret is every therapist really goes into that field to fix themselves first, and then we can help other people. But that's what I do now. And like, thankfully I have a little niche in the therapy world. It's like there are not a ton of male therapists, and then there aren't a ton of male therapists who just kind of talk normal. Like I hate lingo, like therapy speak. I'd much rather talk. I mean, you and I, we're both played baseball, so I'd rather talk like I'm talking to a baseball player in a therapy session. Yep. And I think that helps me reach guys and women too, that otherwise would have no interest in psychology.
That's such a good point, dude, because when I'm being coached by somebody, or I'm talking to a friend or a therapist, therapy is a tricky thing for me because, I always jump to talk therapy doesn't work for me. And it truly doesn't the way it's been done. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
Why did you feel that way? Look, motherfucker, I don't know why I felt that way, because if I did, I wouldn't be feeling this way, but I need you to talk to me normal. Like, how do I fix this? Like, just shoot me between the eyes and tell me what my problem is. And, it was just one of those things, man, that I truly respect. And then, leaving the corporate world and doing something scary like this, that's a big move. What corporate business were you in, and what did you do before this?
So this is going to age everybody that is probably listening, but there was an old portrait studio company called Olin Mills.
I know Olin Mills.
You know Olin Mills?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Yes. Hell yeah, bro.
So like I was their only new hire in 5 years, because this is when digital was taking over and they weren't adapting well. And so all of a sudden I show up and everybody's looking at me like, are we growing again? Why are they hiring you? And there was no match, because I was a 22-year-old fresh out of college, and the target market for Olin Mills is young moms with kids. So how am I going to create marketing materials for them? Because that was my job, is create marketing materials for them. I'm like, I don't know why it happened, but I'm glad it did, because now I have the perspective of even a bad day in my current world is still better than any good day in that world. So, and the people were great. It's just, like I say, the job wasn't fulfilling. So anytime I feel like I'm complaining, I'm like, nah, like, let me put myself back in those days, because now I'm good.
It's so funny because you're talking about your story of why you left, because you didn't feel fulfilled. You felt empty.
Right.
So I have the same story, and that's how this started, right? It started in me feeling so empty and depressed. Like, what am I actually doing right now? Like what, like, okay, great. I have this amazing sales career and I'm helping, because I was in medical sales and I was also in payroll sales, but it's like, I'm helping people, I'm helping business owners, or I'm helping patients, the end user, recover, with less pain and quicker, by different intraoperative therapies. Like, but it was a dead end for me, man. And I was getting so angry and so bored. Yep. And this thing came up and it was just like, okay. Yeah. This is what I want to do.
You probably get to see the direct impact for what you're doing now compared to then. There were 2 or 3 people in between the impact.
Yeah. You know what, man? Like the impact is funny with this business, right? Because, for a long time, the people closest to you are silent. Because like, what are you doing, dumbass? You're doing a podcast. Okay. Until it works. Right. And then they start coming around and listening. Hey, it's actually pretty good. But for me, the direct impact comes few and far between. And what I'm going to say to the audience right now and to you, I want them to take advantage of it, because when someone goes and leaves me a written review on Apple that I don't know, that is the highlight of my day. Yeah. I got one from this lady. It said Biz Lady, and I don't know who it is. So if you're listening, you obviously listen to the show. Thank you. Your review made my day. And it was so sweet. And it was just like, Shawn has a way of talking to his guests and relating. And for me, I'm like, damn, she sees me. Yeah. She sees what I'm doing here. And that's the value we're trying to give. So those moments right there, those direct impacts, or the DMs, hey, I'm battling brain cancer right now. I've been listening to your show. Oh, I mean, wow. Like that for me is why I do it.
Yeah. There's no higher honor.
No, there's not. Yeah. It's incredible, dude. I mean, it's just, what about you, man? Like when you're able to help somebody get through some tough shit, like how does that make you feel?
Oh, I mean, it's not even work. I can count on one hand the number of days in the last 10 years as a therapist where I felt like, all right, this is actual work. I just get to do what I'm wired to do. And I get up in the morning, I don't need a snooze button. And it's not because I'm so disciplined. It's just like, I'm looking forward to doing this.
Yeah.
And so, walking with somebody face to face, one-on-one, there's nothing more fulfilling. And I've done like speeches and all the things that seem like they're going to be like the top of the chain, but there's just nothing better than sitting with somebody, especially when they have that aha moment. And then you see the next few days and weeks where their life turns around. Like,
when you see someone's lights come on right in front of you, it's like, there it is. Like, that is the moment, you know? And dude, to your point, man, you've been on a ton of different press, NPR, some big TV, you've been on stages, and that wasn't even a prerequisite for you coming onto the show. I didn't know it until recently. I'm like, oh damn, this is really, really cool. Right. Like, for me, I wanted you on the show because I vibed with you. Right. And I loved your approach. And dude, I love your freaking content, dude. It is so damn good. And that must come from your marketing background, but you've built a really good platform that I know speaks to men, most importantly, and can speak to women too. But you know, you wrote this book, and Tough Enough, and you did this, you put this.
Here we go.
Oh my God, dude. I'm trying to find words, but you did the stitch, I guess, or something like that, where you're reacting to this man trying to toughen his son up by kicking him in the ribs. And when I watched it, I'm like, I can't comment on this one yet. I gotta remove myself and see what is trying to be said here. But the overall message is like, you know, not enough fathers are raising strong young men. And I think that's true. Like, I'm not going to kick mine in the rib cage, but I understand that. But dude, like, I saw it and I'm like, this son of a bitch is genius, because I thought you were going to get torched. And like, everybody's like, whatever the comment was for the book, I can't even remember. It was like, book. I'm like, there's like 400 people here that just asked for his book. And so it was just, let's walk through that, man. Like, how scary was that, putting that out, by the way? You
know, it wasn't scary because I've seen that scenario, not that video, but I've seen other versions of that in real life so often that I know, number one, I'm going to get disagreed with, and I'm okay with that because I'm not trying to be sensationalistic or anything like that. I truly see that there is a father or father figure crisis going on in the country. And then I see how many young guys are struggling and craving that. Most of them don't even know they're craving it. So I just knew, all right, this is a visual representation of what we're missing in the country. And so I wasn't nervous at all. I was excited just because I knew very few people talk about this stuff. And so I at least wanted to kind of throw that out there just to get something stirred up. Because like you said, I knew there was a hunger. Like there was a story of a buddy of mine. He's in meetings all day in his office, walks out onto the street, and all of a sudden smells from food trucks hit him. And in that moment, he had been so busy until then, he smells that food. He realized, I'm so hungry. But he didn't know he was hungry until he got the hint of it. And that's the kind of stuff that it was showing in that video where, oh, we need this. And we didn't know we needed it.
No, I can relate to that, because when I watched it and then thought a lot further on it, I said, Shawn, are you raising a strong young man? You know, like I feel I am, but you know, I do it a little bit differently, but you know, it made me think, you know, and that's what I really love about what you put out there. You make people think, man. Good, and I think that is so important.
Thanks.
So walk me through the journey of the book.
Yeah. The book, it basically happened because so many young guys have been coming to see me and they have no guides, like no in-person guides, and then no real content. So the publisher came to me and I wasn't even thinking of writing a book. Like, that just wasn't on my list of goals. So they came to me saying, hey, we want you to write a book for men. And I was like, okay, but there are thousands of books for men. So why would I write another one? Because there's plenty of good ones. And then two things hit me. I have a list of like 10 to 15 books that I would love for every guy to read, but reading is so in decline right now. I knew that's never going to happen. So what if I took the best of those books and put it into one? And then I have always known that guys in their 20s have been tossed aside. And that pisses me off. And so I thought, all right, well, if they want a book, I'm going to write something for a group that has been forgotten. And as best as I can tell, and as best as HarperCollins, the publisher, can tell, there's not been a book written for guys in their 20s. And so that, like, this book is like, it's not going to be this mass wide seller that goes on Oprah or anything, but I don't care. I want to reach guys that have feel like they're either forgotten or worse, like they've been told, we don't really need you. Like,
hey guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to slide into our recovery segment brought to you by Therabody. What an amazing technology that Therabody has. And it was founded on a really cool story by Dr. Jason Wersland. It was founded on pain. He got into an accident and had this extreme pain in his arm and found that percussive therapy really helped. So he created the very first version of the Theragun with a Makita drill just to pilot and test to see if his pain could be relieved by percussive therapy overall. And surely it was. So now birth to the Theragun and now Therabody, who has a multitude of products to help you recover emotionally and physically. And some of the products even help with stress, meditation, and better sleep, and just overall better wellness. And when I had Dr. J on the show earlier in 2025, it really spoke to me because his platform was founded out of physical pain, and the Determined Society was founded out of emotional pain. And so it felt natural for us to partner up. So here we are, an official partnership with Therabody. And I want to talk to you about some of the products today that I've been enjoying that I think you need to understand and know more about so you could potentially implement them into your life. And I'm not going to get into a big deep dive of the actual science and everything like that. I'm just going to give you some anecdotal information based on the products that I'm using and that my wife is actually using too, that is helping us out a great deal at home. Because the great thing about these products, guys, is you can use them anywhere. You can use them in the gym. You can use them at home, in your bed, in your living room. Hell, you can even drive with the Theragun Pro Plus in your car and use it on your quads, use it on your arms, whatever that is. The first thing I want to talk about is the Theragun Pro Plus. I bring that in my gym bag every day to the gym. And when I'm warming up, I use it to warm up. I put it on my arms, whatever body part I'm using that day, I activate those muscles. And what I find is I'm able to move my body a lot quicker. And I'm a lot stronger on those days that I do actually bring it and utilize it. I just think it's a great way to understand your body and the connection between your strength and your muscles and being warm and being able to perform. Because it's one thing to go work out, but it's another thing to perform while you're doing it. And the Theragun Pro Plus helps me do that. Another thing that I really, truly enjoy is the Jet Boots Pro Plus. These things are wire-free. There's no hassle. There's no cords. There's infrared LED light. There's that compression therapy. And I've been having bad pains in my ankles, both of them actually, for about a year. And I don't understand where it's coming from. But when I started using the boots religiously after a leg day or after a cardio session, I throw those boots on and I find myself a lot looser afterwards. I find myself lighter. And then the next day, there's no pain in my lower extremity, like my feet. The other thing that I really enjoy is that product really helps me recover a lot quicker. And let's face it, that's the most important thing when we're trying to move our bodies or we're trying to succeed in life is we want quick recovery emotionally and physically. And these products help me do that. And they can help you do that as well. One of the other things that I really want to go into because it's helping my wife out a ton with headaches and being able to distract from the noise in her mind. And honestly, it helps me with that too, is the smart goggles. Whenever we feel a slight headache coming on or things are getting really heavy just in our minds, just thinking about all the stressors, all the things out there that we can't control, we throw the goggles on, get in a quiet place, and there's different cycles on there and different intensities of vibrations and massaging that you can either turn it up or turn it down. And what I really enjoy is it allows me to focus on what's going on with just me. And I think about things, and the massaging with the smart goggles relieves either headaches and it relaxes me and relaxes my wife to a point where we can fall asleep better. We are preparing to kind of downshift and shut down and slow down for the evening. So I heavily recommend them. The other thing it's really good for is just creating a peaceful time in your day. And what I found since using the smart goggles and then the other products is it works for me. It works for my family. And I know it can work for you too. So I want you guys to think about things that you are struggling with. If it's lower back pain or you wake up in the morning, your neck is tight, I'm going to tell you the Theragun Pro Plus will help that out. They have cold therapy on it, hot therapy. I mean, think about that. When I opened that box and realized that I could have heat therapy and cold therapy and a Theragun, changed everything for me. And also really made the thing that I hate doing the most is warm up. Made that very easy for me just by applying it to the muscle group that I'm going to use before I do it and in between sets, which promotes quicker recovery between sets. So if you're looking to go high volume or to lift heavy weights, I strongly consider that. All these products are there to help you move along in your day with less pain and recover quicker. So go check it out because now, like I said, the official partnership has begun. And from now until the end of March, in your first order, you get 15% off your first order, not every order. So if you're going to buy some stuff, load up there in that cart for that first time and you get 15% off. Go to therabody.com and at checkout, the code is determined. So let me know how you guys like it. Until then, stay determined. Dude, and what a great publisher, HarperCollins. Like, I know, dude, is this your first book?
First one, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And there's such kind people. I love them.
They're great. I've worked with their PR department on some guests and things like that. They're a great group, man.
Yeah.
Great group.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right. You know, because when I look back to my 20s, and I'm in college and I'm out playing baseball, and I'm not going to say my dad stopped fathering me. Mm. But there was a big disconnect because I was out doing what I was doing, right? I'm in Louisiana, you know, he's here. And it's like those critical years, man, are so important because if you do not have direction, I mean, look what's going on in the world right now. All the shootings, everything. And a lot of them points to like not having a present father figure. This is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But yet there's a big narrative going around like, I can raise my son on my own. He doesn't need a father. Mm. And I don't know that life, you know, and I'm not going to judge it. I will say that there's so many strong women out there that are doing such a fine job, but also a man can't do what a woman can in raising, and a woman can't give what a father can. They can give a ton.
Sure.
And I don't want that to be misconstrued, ladies. I truly believe that you guys are way better than us. But there's certain things that a young boy needs from his father.
Yeah. I don't know why it has to be a competition between men and women.
Because you know, social media, dude, we're going to get torched on that one right here.
That's true.
Like maybe we'll put that out as a clip because we're going to get torched on it, and that's okay. Yeah. But yeah, man, it should not be a competition.
Right.
You know, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, and because it's complementary. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to have both to complete the sandwich here. And so you talk about the women in the comment sections or women saying like, I don't need a man. Most of the comments that are in those type of videos that come from women, it's heartbreaking because they're literally asking, please help. Mm-hmm. How do I raise my son on my own? And then how do I get him around father figures? Mm-hmm. And I don't have enough room in a comment to really help guide them. And so I pray like God help them find somebody that's going to actually show them the way in person. And I give them a couple tips in the comments, as much room as it allows. But the stats, I always like to flip it positive, but we'll start with negative. 1 in 3 households has no dad present. Mm. And then there's no way of telling, like with the dads that are present, there's no way of telling how good of a dad they are. But you and I anecdotally know it's probably pretty low.
Yeah.
And then, but the positive side is, if somebody does grow up with either a father or a father figure, they are 130% more likely to take on a leadership role in things like a company, a team, anything a little bit later in life, 130% more likely, just from having a father figure. It doesn't even have to be real dad.
And so like that right there is an important point for the audience too. So like, you know, there's a lot of different programs, right? Like that you can go out there and get mentors for your sons.
Yeah.
But sports
Sir.
is a big deal.
Yeah.
Sports is a big deal because coaches become father figures, and we both live that life as coaches.
Yep.
And, you know, I didn't know until today you coach baseball, right? And so like all of this makes sense, right? The easy connection, we're in line with our ideologies here, both baseball coaches. Like baseball dudes, you can, once you meet someone, you know someone's a baseball dude, right?
Yes, sir.
But for me, there was a lot of different mentors through me playing baseball that taught me things that my father didn't, that, you know, maybe taught me patience, maybe, you know, taught me certain things on how to respond instead of react. So, you know, again, there's many ways to get that mentorship in your life, and it doesn't have to be a father. I mean, look, I grew up without a biological father. Okay. And my mom married my dad, who I call he's my dad.
Yeah.
My dad.
Yeah.
You know, I was like 8 or 9. That's my dad.
Right.
You know, but I know what that's like. And I just think it's, you know, when I look at my children, you know, I'm not perfect.
Shocker.
I fall short, you know, so much. And I fell short yesterday. You know, I flipped my lid, you know, and I'm paying for that today because I look back at it and it's like, I could have done better. Like I could have done so much better. And it's funny because I never lose it on my son. It's my daughters. And I don't know why that is. I think I know why that is. I just feel like with my daughters, like sometimes I just can't win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Can't connect fully?
Like, no, I'm super close with them, but it's like, I feel like you can even go down to like what I cook for dinner.
Yeah.
It's like, there's only so many times like you can hear like, I don't like that. Or like, oh, that's what we're having. It's like, I've just spent the last 2 hours doing this, you know? So like, I don't claim to be this all the time. I am a human being and I struggle. I think one of the biggest things that I have to work through is simply that, like the response instead of the react. And it's so hard when you're in the middle of it, but it's like, my wife said this to me yesterday. She goes, if you can't control your emotions as an adult, how do you expect your children to? It's like, it really pissed me off at the moment.
Oh yeah. Nobody wants to hear that.
It's like, dude, this is like 3% of my whole life that this happens. I'm 97% spot on. But, you know, and then I think another emotion that comes is like the disappointment. You know, like I'm so disappointed in myself when things like that happen.
Can I pat you on the back though?
Yeah, sure.
So the first thing you said, even before you went into the story, you owned up, I'm flawed. I lose my temper. Even before you talked about it on who you were losing it on, like, and you said the quote, I think you literally said, I need to be better. I don't think 25% of men would be able to verbally say that stuff out loud. They're going to come up with some excuse or they're going to blame. Like I was just talking to somebody's dad the other day, and it was after a sporting event, and he ripped his son. I mean, literally called him a pussy. Yeah. And this was after the dude had gotten injured and kept playing and lost because of the injury. Dad still calls him a pussy. And I talked to him. I tried to keep calm because I wanted to.
You wanted to reach. Yeah. I know what you wanted to do.
Exactly. And I just said, hey, what was your goal out of that conversation? And of course, he's not going to answer that. He's too defensive. And I said, if you had it to do over again, would you do it differently? And he goes, no, because he needs to be tough. And like, it was always just pointing outward. So the fact that you pointed inward and said like, I mess up, I got to get better. That separates you from so many men right now.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's easy to separate ourselves from a lot of men these days. But the other thing you said in terms of the, I forget the word you said when you're talking about your daughters, but there is a reason that so many men are workaholics is because we get the respect at work because we can control the outcomes so much, or at least have more of an influence over the outcomes. But when we get home, especially with daughters, we got no control over outcomes, and we can't figure out how we got there. So we feel disrespected and we don't really know it.
Mm-hmm.
So we tend to start withdrawing from the home situations and stay more at work, where we kind of get that sense of like, okay, I can make a difference. I can get the outcomes I want.
That's a great point, man. I mean, it's a really good point, because it's like, there's only so much a man can take, right? Yeah. And, over the last month, I've been told by my wife, like, hey, you're escalating a little more. I know you're stressed. Like,
yep.
You're taking it out on me and it's hurtful. And I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I am. And, I look back at it today. I was like, okay, like I see it. There are reasons, and it's not what she or they think. It's not the stress from the job. It's certain stressors to where I feel I'm falling short at home.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to. It's like, I cook every meal, I make sure the kitchen's cleaned. I make sure, like, I help out with the laundry when I can. But I just feel like sometimes it's like, it's not enough.
Yeah. And
that's hard for a man, because I am so busy. I am doing a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly moving. If I get a text during the day, I got an order from Target or Sephora, can you go pick it up? Like, dude, that's taking time out of my day.
Yeah. That
like
you don't have.
That I don't have. But I do it because I want to serve. Yeah. And I'll get very agitated if I feel underappreciated.
Boom. Yeah. And that's so common. We do need to be appreciated. It's like earlier you talked about people feeling seen and heard, whether it be in the comment sections or whatever. Like, that's what a man needs. It's like, there's an old book called Love and Respect, and we need both, but generally speaking, women need a little more love than respect, and generally men need a little more respect than love. And so if we just hear those words like, hey, thank you, like, I appreciate what you're doing, we'll run through a wall for somebody, especially our wife. So that you're normal. Congratulations.
I'm a normal man. Warm,
but the other issue is, whenever we blow up or we give some sort of reaction, if it's generally like on a scale of 1 to 10, if it's like a 6 or above, that's the indication that it's not really about what's happening in this moment.
1 billion%.
Yeah.
1 billion%.
We carry around labels from our past and limiting beliefs. And so whatever happened in this moment probably hit that bruise that hasn't fully healed yet. And our nervous system doesn't know time. So it thinks that we're like in this moment, but it's also when we're 8 years old. So we just get all reactive.
And that's a hard thing to unravel too and unwind. So for the audience there, how does one go through? Because for me, like, when that situation happened, it was like, it was a 7.
Yeah.
It wasn't 8, 9, or 10, but it was in between a 6 and a 7 for sure. I'm going to give myself a 7 on that one.
Yes, sir.
And, to a point where I barely spoke the rest of the day and this morning.
Yeah.
And then I think, as a father, it's like, I just sent my kids off to school, and you never know what's going to happen in this day and age.
Right.
Now, again, I'm not saying that I had a bad morning with my children. I didn't, I loved on them, but I wasn't 100% me. I was feeling a little wounded from last night, and also the shame of disappointing your wife 2 days before your anniversary.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So tomorrow's our 7-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And, so that'll be after this comes out, it'll be February 24th is our anniversary. And I was just like, how do you fuck that up, Shawn? Like, how do you honestly fuck it up so bad in that moment? And everything was fine. That one moment, bomb goes off, and it's like, what's wrong with him? Well, your guess is as good as mine. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know.
Can I dig on that?
Yeah, please, man, go for it.
I don't want to pry here.
No, go for it.
That voice.
This is a job interview, by the way.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about hiring you for real.
Let's do it.
Like that. I mean, that is true, but this is not a job. But anyway, go ahead.
So that voice that said, all right, Shawn, how do you fuck that up that badly? Did that sound like somebody from your past? That's first question. And then 2, did that voice carry with it like, you're a failure? Or was it more of a curious tone? Like, how did you mess that up?
No, so I don't know exactly how to answer your first question. I will say that I grew up around a lot of yelling. And so I think what it does is it brings me there.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't want my children to see that, but there's times where I fail and they do see that. I'm not aggressive. I don't throw shit. I don't hit things. I don't put my hands on people. But when I go, I go.
Yeah.
Because there's also a competitive spirit for me. Like, I want you to know that I'm right. Like, this is not the deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it plays on, shame.
Yep.
Right. Like that I escalated to that point to where I now responsibly have to do damage control. And those are hard moments, man. I mean, they teach me a lot. What they really teach me is like, Shawn, you have a lot of growing to do. And I'm here for it, man. Like, I'm 47. I got a lot of life left, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. But like, yeah, to me, man, it just plays on, like, I didn't like to hear that when I was a kid. And then I just put that in front of my kids. So I don't think it was a moment of like constructive criticism. I think it was more a moment of shame.
Sure. And I'm glad you used that word shame, because that really is the word. But I've also found that most men don't really want to use that word. They don't really resonate with it. So what I found is two things. The stuff from our past, I hate using the word trauma because it's just so overused.
It is.
And guys, again, don't really connect to it. So I use the word injuries because, we're athletes. We know what some of my favorite conversations with guys like, hey, what's your worst injury ever? Like you can talk for hours,
that's good
right?
shit.
And so same idea, like we get the internal injuries, and just because we can't see them, we think they're not there. But it's those moments from like your past when you were around a lot of yelling that left injuries inside of you. And then when something happens that makes you feel like you're not good enough, because that's what shame is. So we got injuries and we got not good enough. What happens is those moments in the past that leave those injuries in us, they also leave messages or like meanings that we attach to them or connect to them. And so often it's like, well, because this event happened that hurt me, this must also mean that I'm not good enough, because if I was good enough, it wouldn't have happened. And so a lot of times the things that we react to in the moment is because, again, it's hitting that old injury. And then the ways we talk to ourselves, it usually sounds like, well, you did this again, so that means you're not good enough. And like, how did you screw this up again? Like it's the same cycle that keeps going over and over.
Dude, thank you for that. Because, and for the men and even the women listening, like when you have a certain event happen with your kids, you can't take that back. And I think what makes, I don't want to say me special, but yeah, I'll say one of my gifts is like really feeling that and going, do I want to be the reason my daughter's hurting right now? Like, no, and I know my children think the world of me, dude. Like I know they know their dad. But those moments, man, like those are so hard, dude.
Oh yeah.
Especially as a man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we want to be the superhero and always come through. It goes back to when we're kids. Like we want to be the guy that provides and protects. So when we don't do that perfectly, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But we gotta deal with the stuff from the past that keeps us in the cycle. Because if you don't deal with the past stuff, it's basically you arm wrestling with yourself. Like, I got to do better today. But there's still something in you that's injured, and that's what's causing some of the explosive reactions.
Let's dig into that real quick, because it is so hard for people to go back and see what their past injuries are. And I know you do EDMR. Does that help?
It can. Yeah. So there's all kinds of different ways to deal with the past injuries or traumas. EMDR we don't have to say the fancy full name, but it's basically,
I don't even know the full name, dude.
Yeah. And it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. There you go.
Shit, man.
So now we nerded out, which I hate doing, but it works here. And let me go back to what you said about talk therapy and how it doesn't work for men. I don't mind getting clipped on this. Talk therapy generally does not work for men. Like a conversation works for men because we need to talk, we need to be heard. But in terms of making the actual changes at the root, talk therapy doesn't get it.
Nope.
Because talk therapy hits the front of the brain, which is where our rational, logical thinking is. But the roots are in the subconscious brain. And talking doesn't reach the subconscious brain because your subconscious doesn't speak English. Like I put it in the book, I have this concept called the caveman. The caveman's responsible for all those like outbursts and instincts. And he doesn't speak English. He lives in your subconscious. And so you could sit here and talk it out all day, but it ain't going to touch him because he speaks a different language. He speaks things like EMDR or breathing or other types of movements in therapy. So when I meet with a guy in a truly therapeutic way, we do a lot of talking at first, but that's just to build a connection.
Of course.
And then once they trust me enough, then we get into the subconscious stuff. So EMDR is one of those ways. And it works with eye movement, the kind of the back and forth eyes, or tapping with your legs or tapping on your shoulders. Because again, it's bypassing that brain, the front of the brain, and getting to the roots a whole lot faster.
What are some other ways that you reach that caveman in the subconscious?
My favorite way is internal family systems. Like, have you ever seen the movie Inside Out, the first or the second one?
Yeah, I've seen both of them. Yeah.
Like that, I hate complimenting certain things that Disney does, but that movie, they took 5 years of my grad school and they shrank it into 2 hours of a movie. It is genius.
Really?
I mean, I'm sitting there, I took my nieces and nephews to it and they're laughing and having fun. At the same time, I see what they're actually doing with the scene. I'm over there crying. So I'm like, don't look at me. So what happens is in that movie, they really do show that these characters, there are these parts in us, and the parts are not us. So if we start beating ourselves up, like with your explosion, like, yes, it came out of you, but that wasn't the real you that exploded. That was a part in you that felt threatened, like the caveman. And so when the caveman feels threatened, he thinks you're literally going to die. It's like, I'll give you the quick lowdown on the caveman. So he thinks that anything might kill you. And he was really helpful back in the days when we were out hunter-gatherers, like having to kill our food and live out in the wild. Like, if you heard something rustling in the bushes, like that might be a bear. So you need your caveman to put you into fight or flight mode. Now, I mean, we're in comfortable indoor settings. So he kind of has no job, but he's pretty dumb. He's really good at the one thing of keeping you alive, but he's sitting there bored looking for a job. So he'll look at something like a speech or a confrontation, like an uncomfortable confrontation with your wife or your boss. And he thinks, well, if it's uncomfortable, it might kill us. So we gotta bow up or we gotta run away. And so we have to do things that are ways that speak to him. So again, IFS is like, you close your eyes and it's a weird, spooky thing at first, but it's not spooky because there's research behind it. But you actually have to have little imaginary conversations in your own head with these little parts. And like at first, because I tried it as a client first before I ever got trained in it. And like, that's the only type of therapy that really broke through for me. And so
I've never heard of that one, internal family systems.
Yeah, IFS is.
It's really interesting because, like, to your point, it's like so again, conversation, right, helps.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had anybody break down to me what the subconscious is.
Yeah. It's
like, okay, it's your caveman, doesn't speak English. It's based on wiring.
Yes.
You know, past injuries, the fight or flight, I have to protect, or I have to kill or be killed.
Exactly.
Because that's what happened way back in the day. You know, that's just an interesting, that's pretty damn cool, man, because now I kind of understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this isn't me. This is that guy,
Yep.
you know, but we gotta find ways to tame him.
Right.
Right. And so, like, because I don't find it helpful when he comes out.
No.
But he'll come out on certain things. You know, for me, and I love conversations like this because it gives more connection with the guest, but also gives the audience a really big peek behind me. And I think the one thing that makes this show really good is that I'm not afraid to share it.
Love it.
I'm not. Because if it helps someone, cool.
Yeah.
But like, dude, these moments, man, when they hit, it's usually because I feel threatened.
There you go.
It's like, you're trying to take something from me. You know, it could be with the business. It could, you know, the show, it could be anything like that. And the moment I feel like someone's trying to take my shit, I can't shut it off.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife always says, like, you go 0 to 60 like that. And it's very few and far between. But when you do, like, I got to remove myself.
Yeah.
It's because I'm truly at that moment in time, overly emotional.
That's right. Cross from 6 up over,
dude,
that's 6.
Gone.
And what you just said is you got to remove yourself. That is the exact way to handle it. Like, you're never going to be perfect enough to never have the reaction. So if you keep beating yourself up for having the reaction, nothing's going to change. But if you remove yourself so that you don't do more damage and then just get curious, then you can break the pattern. But so many guys, because of past experiences, again, we beat ourselves up. And the very thing that keeps us stuck is shame, or telling ourselves that we're not good enough. well, what do you think's going to happen next if that's the voice you keep telling yourself? So
crazy. Like, when that happened, I jumped in the shower.
Good.
And I went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I went to go get the stuff for dinner. I just needed to get away.
Yeah.
And for me, I like to get away, but also be productive. I'm not the type of, parent nor husband that's going to get away and stay away. It's going to be, well, when I get away, I'm still going to do something for the family. I don't go play around. I don't head to the bar. Right. Because back in the day, man, that's what the caveman did.
Exactly.
Like, I remember like if my dad got pissed, he would like, sometimes he would not even come home that night. There was times. Yeah. There was times, and I've never done that, but yeah, man, the removal in the moment, right, is so important, but it's also got to be done respectfully.
Exactly.
Like I told the kids, like, hey, I'm just going to the store. I will be back. Yeah. I will be back. But I think what men and even women and just human beings in general, what's so important for us to understand how to, I guess, fix or temper is not ever feeling these emotions, because we're going to feel them, but feel them. And then, okay, am I really under threat right now? Exactly. Is my daughter really trying to kill me? Is what my wife's saying really trying to take my livelihood away? Yeah. And the answer is going to be 100% no. No. But the trick is, how does one not react?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It goes back to what you just said. We got to respond and not react. And here's the thing, an emotion, it will run its course through your body, because emotion is really just a chemical. Mm-hmm. It runs through your body in 90 seconds to 2 minutes. So if you can remove yourself for at least that long, and like you said, do it respectfully, say, hey, I just need a minute so I can come back as my best self, but get away. I love how you said you took a shower. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but when you put something, some different temperature on your skin, that's one of the ways to talk to the caveman. Because what he's doing, the reason that we actually react is that he comes from the subconscious brain and shuts down your front of your brain. So he shuts down your rational thinking.
Is that why when people get mad, and like sometimes I'll get really mad, I'll say shit that I probably shouldn't?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
That's it. It's literally like if you looked at a brain scan in that moment when you were reactive, the front of your brain would be almost, dark. It would look like it's dead. Just like the lights turned off in the front of your brain, but the back of the brain would be so lit up and active. So doing something like step 1, remove yourself. Step 2, do some sort of temperature on your skin. Or one little trick I like is if you put your hand on your chest for about 2 minutes, and then breathe into your belly so your stomach starts expanding like a balloon, that tells your brain that you're getting a hug. It's wild. Like the way the body is wired, it's like, okay, God knew what he was doing with the whole, like,
interesting,
all the nervous system and mind-body connection. So if you do stuff like that, or write out like, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm having this thought, like when you see it on paper, it's so much less intimidating when you're just like, oh, it's just these little words. Wow. And you slow yourself down enough to let the caveman know that I'm safe and I can lead us. Because he thinks in those moments, like, you're about to get killed, I got to take over.
Do that, and it's a crippling feeling, right? Because, there's a level of me that knows that this isn't okay. Yeah. It's not okay, but once you get there, you can't shut it off, right? And, I think I might have seen it from you, but I mean, because you triggered a memory. It said, that emotion is going to sit with you for 90 seconds. Mm-hmm. So if I just make it through 90 seconds, 90 seconds, like, that's a challenge. I mean, it doesn't seem like it would be. Dude, it's a minute and a half. Right. Like, figure your shit out, bro. But like, dude, that minute and a half feels like an eternity.
Oh, it's a battle.
When you're in it, it's in it, the energy that it strips you of. Yeah. I went to the store, came home. My son goes, hey, can we watch The King of Collectibles? Huh. The Ken Golden, I've seen every season, every episode. I love that show.
That's cool.
But I turned it on to my son, and, we sat down, I turned it on for him. And then I was at this one end of the section, and he was way over there. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go sit down, like, in the middle at least. And then when I did, he moved closer to me, and he's 12, and he put his head on me, and I was gone. Yeah. Like, and it's crazy because my wife says this too. he's our Zen boy. Like that kid can heal you in 2 minutes. He's always been extremely emotionally intelligent. It's scary. Like he can walk into a room and he can read it.
Wow.
Oh, he can read it, dude. And he knows what you need, you know, how to give it to you. And it, dude, I literally,
it's a superpower.
Dude, truly, man. Like I passed out, but when you expend that emotion and, you know, kind of start coming down from it, bro, like, I don't know about you, but I'm wiped.
Oh yeah. Everybody.
I'm done.
Yeah. And if you're not, then it means you're still activated. It means you're still in that adrenaline. It means
you're a psychopath, right?
Exactly. There's no hope. You're done.
You're done, bro. You're done.
But yeah, like you have to come down from that. Like any adrenaline rush is going to wipe us out. It just takes so many resources to survive that moment of emotion. So yeah, once again, you're normal.
Oh, thank God. But, you know, I think it's one thing to be normal, but, you know, it's still, for me, it's like, okay, it's something to work on. Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever want to be like, okay, well, you know, Trey, you know, my new therapist said it's normal. I'm okay. Like it doesn't give me permission. No. Right. And it shouldn't give any man or any woman or any child permission to act a certain way.
Yep.
But I'm damn sure responsible for not passing on that generational thing to my kids.
Yes, sir.
And that's the thing that bothers me the most, because at that moment I fucking failed.
Yeah.
And again, it happens very few and far between, but you know, I think it's also being a good parent is like understanding like, wait a second, that's not, I messed up. Yeah. And when I sit down with my daughter tonight, when I get home, I'm going to sit down with her and I'm going to talk to her. No, I mean, we're fine. You know, we did the cuddles last night. We got her ready for school, took her, but like, I still wanted to acknowledge like, hey, I know you feel I'm stressed and I know you feel that I'm reacting to you in certain ways. Like I want to talk about it because I also want her to understand where I'm coming from, you know, so that way she can, you know, make adjustments on her end as well.
Yes. And
say, okay, this, you know, maybe it's not, and to me, it's like so funny. It's like, it's not what you say ever. It's how you say it.
Exactly.
You know, can I tell you what happened?
Please.
Okay. So they had a late breakfast and I made a big breakfast, and like all day they didn't ask for lunch. And I didn't realize it was 3:30. I'm like, oh shit. I go, Jackie, I go, they didn't eat lunch. She goes, okay. I go, so I call, you know, my son up. I said, hey, go down and talk to your sister. You know, it's already 3:30. So why don't you guys have some fruit, have a snack or something? And then I'm going to go to the store right now and I'm going to make dinner, an early dinner. Well, he told my daughter that. Oh, she didn't like it.
Ooh.
She didn't like it. You know, she came up and it wasn't like a, hey, I really would like to eat lunch. Can you please make something small so I can eat? Oh no, she came in with a half Ecuadorian attitude, like half crying, like looking at me and like, and it was just like that moment. I'm like, this 7-year-old is handing me my lunch right now. And no pun intended. Well, actually pun intended, but it was like I read it differently than my wife. My wife read it as she's just emotional. She's sad because she didn't have lunch. I'm like, dude, we don't starve our kids here. Like this is fucking, it was one time, but it was the energy of like, you disappointment. Like how dare, it wasn't, if she would have came up and started, you know, like, but daddy, I'm really hungry. Like I want lunch. I'm like, okay, you know, but it set me off, dude. I went downstairs, cut up some damn meat and threw a mandarin on her plate. I'm like, your lunch is downstairs.
Yeah.
You know, and then she didn't eat her dinner.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
But that, you know, and people might be listening like, Shawn, that's not a big deal, but like, you don't live in my house. You don't understand my programming and how I perceive that moment.
Yeah.
But like on a big scale, like they're right. It's not that big of a deal. But at that moment, it was like, slow your roll. Like, who are you talking to?
Right.
You know, and it was on the heels of the night before, you know, I'm making all this. I mean, there was ribeye, there was New York strip, and comes down, and my daughter, I don't want people to think that my daughter is not, she's an amazing human being. She's a sweetheart, but she comes down and goes, I don't like lime cilantro rice. And I looked at her and I go, I don't like your attitude. You know,
there.
But here's the key. Here's the key. That only happens when she watches a lot of TV.
Yeah.
We don't turn on the TV during the week. And then on the weekends, it's a privilege. You know, it's not a privilege. It's a privilege. It's like, it's not a given. It's like, okay, at 12 o'clock, you can turn on the TV and watch something. But what happens is my wife and I like to spend time together because we don't ever really get to during the weeks. We're like, all right, cool. Let's let them watch it. Well, then,
yep.
You know, like the monster comes out with that little girl, man. The TV does it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, I don't know, man, I'm rambling at this point, but that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, working through it, man.
Well, one thing you said, like somebody from the outside looking in, they've got the vantage point of objectivity. So like they're in their logical brain, but if they were in your situation, they'd be in their caveman brain. And then the reactions, and your daughter was in her caveman brain. Cause like when we're hungry, I don't know about you, when I get hungry, like it's an urgent situation, even though I know I'm not going to starve, but there's something illogical in me is like, I got to get food. And so she was probably having that going on. And then whatever, you know, what she said is made you feel like the disappointment was triggered the old injuries. But here's the thing. And this, I want to connect this to what you posted earlier today on your account on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The fact that it made you feel like a disappointment, that tells me that there's something in you that is afraid of being a disappointment. Again, a part. It's not the real you, but there's a part in there that's afraid of being a disappointment. And usually if we're afraid that something's true about us, usually means something happened in the past that made us feel that way.
I can break that down for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that video up, man. Cause that
I want to keep going with that.
Yeah, it was a very raw video.
Yeah. Well, there's more about it I want to talk about, but tell me about the disappointment.
But for me, you know, kind of what I'm talking about in that video is, you know, my whole life I grew up as a baseball player. And I talk about this a lot, like my identity shift or my identity crisis, post sports, whatever. The moment I had my arm injury, when I got to LSU, I never materialized into what they thought I was going to be, what I felt I was going to be. And that created this massive crater-sized chip on my shoulder to where, like, wait a second, now dad might be right because I'm not going to succeed here and I'm not going to go play in the major leagues. I have no other skills. Right. And so when I feel stagnant in growth, or when I feel like we're not being seen, because nothing will trigger me more. I'm very protective of this company. I'm very protective of this show. And when I don't feel seen, I take that very personally.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't. You know, if you look at the 4 agreements, don't take anything personally. I'm breaking an agreement, right? Because I believe in that, but I'm also human, right?
Yeah.
So like in those moments of where I'm saying, what's the next step? What's the next step? What is this? What is this? How do we grow? How do we grow? It's about being seen. It's about breaking through the white noise of the internet. That's all it is. It's not going to make my life infinitely better. I mean, it might financially, but I've already got an amazing wife and 3 beautiful children and a nice house. Like I've got everything. I've got more than a lot of people have, right? But those moments right there is triggered on the fact that not being seen and not performing.
Yeah. And the magic part of this is those fears of not being seen and not performing, those probably have come in handy for you in building your success.
100%.
Your measurable success. So we can't just take them and throw them out. Like one of the reasons I'm meeting some of the stuff you're saying, or all the stuff that you're saying with grace and curiosity, is because you want to grow. And you've said it. You're not looking for excuses and looking to blame. If this were a real therapy session and you were looking at excuses and looking to blame, I'd be having a whole different approach with you.
But, of course.
But with somebody like you that wants to grow, I'm just saying, hey, like it's not really you that's responding in this way. It's not really you that wants whatever happened in that moment to blow up and all that. So let's get curious about what's really underneath. And so that concept of not being seen and being a disappointment. I'll tell you a couple of quick stories to help kind of give some context here. In the book, I talk about this guy. He walked in on the very first session, young guy, late 20s. He walks in and he's mad. And I've never met him.
He's already pissed at
He's
you.
already pissed. Like, what did I do?
Uh-huh.
And I'm a little nervous. Like, do I need to defend myself? And he walks in and he takes out his car keys and he slams them on the table. And it's the keys to like a Lamborghini, I think. And he goes, all right, I'll drive a Lamborghini. And he takes out his phone, shows me a picture. He's got a great looking wife, 2 cute kids. I got a wife, I got 2 kids. I make blah, 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 whatever it was per year. And he goes, now tell me, why the blank am I not happy? Just silence. I mean, he's like staring holes through me because like I'm going to somehow come through for him in one sentence. So you talk about not wanting to be a disappointment. Like,
Yeah, Jesus,
I got to come through for this guy. And so what happened was we dug underneath the surface and we realized that he thought, because of past events, he thought that if he can just achieve enough, that he won't be running away from the label of disappointment anymore. Because stuff happened to him in his past where he really did feel like a disappointment, and all of his success, he thought, or a part of him thought in his subconscious, if I just achieve enough, then I don't have to worry about being a disappointment anymore. And that's so much. That's why your video from Instagram resonated with me. I'm like, oh man, the fuel that causes us to achieve certain things, we got to keep that, because if we throw it out, then we're throwing out some of our true DNA. But we got to harness it, because the stat is, people who reach big goals, within 3 months of reaching that goal, they go back to their kind of normal level of feeling, like normal level of happiness, normal mood, whatever. So it doesn't last that long. Like even the biggest accomplishments, about 3 months later, you're back to feeling normal. And so Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor. He had a great concept. He said, it's not that achievement is wrong. It's just that you're making yourself the center of the story. And so if we can keep that in mind, it's like achievement is great. And because 2 things are true, it's not a but, it's an and. Achievement's great. And it needs to be aimed at something in service of something bigger than ourselves. But so often that caveman takes over and it's like, just a little more, just a little more, just a little more. It's like Rockefeller's quote was, somebody asked him how much money is enough. He goes, just $1 more. It's just never enough. And that's one of the reasons I put that word enough in the title, is because like, guys feel like we're not good enough, we're not strong enough, not tough enough, not good looking enough, not rich enough, whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, there's never going to be a finish line if that's how we're shaping things. So
interesting, dude.
Like when I was 4th grade, I was the only new student in the school. I'm walking in on the first day of class. I'm nervous. I don't know if I'm gonna fit in. They're all sitting in a circle, and I walk to the circle just nervous as all get out. And one dude looks up and he goes, damn, I'm glad I'm not looking into a mirror right now. And I'm like, looking back, that's kind of a clever insult from a 4th grader.
Well, that's pretty good, man.
That's right. But in that moment, I wanted to just crawl in a hole and disappear.
I bet, man.
What I didn't realize was in that moment, talk about injury, it left an injury in me, and I took away some messages or some labels, some limiting beliefs, like I must be ugly. If I'm the new guy in a situation, I'm probably going to get rejected. So anytime I can't avoid being the new guy, I better just be quiet and not bring any attention to myself.
Wow.
So like for me, not getting rejected was the thing I kept trying to achieve more, to outrun. Like with you, not being a disappointment or not being seen was the thing you potentially keep achieving to try to outrun. It's the same playbook. It's just our caveman trying to solve a problem in a way that's not really helpful.
You know, it's interesting because my buddy, Rich, sent me a message on Instagram. He's like, bro, haven't you read Relentless by Tim Grover? I'm like, 3 times. He goes, well, cleaners are always searching. You know, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that's not a bad thing. And he's right to an extent. And I think, you know, I may have said, you know, people are going to say whatever to sell books. That is what it is. I do believe that high achievers are always pushing. Yep. But my point is when it robs you or robs me of the present joy of what has already been created, boom, that's a fucking problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. I know what's been publicized about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Those are the 2 GOATs. Sorry, end of story. Michael Jordan never lost the finals.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know, 3-peat twice and didn't have to move teams. You know who I'm coming after here. He didn't have to move teams and recruit players to win championships.
Nope, he carried them.
He carried them. He made it work with what he had there. But at the same time, like even with Kobe Bryant, man, like he would win a championship and then he'd be in the gym the next morning at 4 a.m. shooting hoops and trying to get better.
Yep.
But that does not mean that he was not proud of what happened the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And where I get lost, and where I think a lot of people get lost, especially in this industry, because it's so hard, is like, you can't help but to compare.
Oh yeah.
Well, how do I get there? And then it takes away from the growth of the last 12 months. That's why I said, like, hey, you gotta, why aren't we looking back at the last 12 months and seeing if there's any growth? If you haven't grown, well, then you have a serious conversation to have with yourself. But if there's been growth, then you're on the right path. The problem is the caveman wants it now.
Yes.
I want my kill now. I want to eat now. And that's not the way this shit works.
Right. Again, he wants it now because he thinks if you don't get it, you'll literally die. So we gotta treat that urge with some care, as if he's a toddler that just doesn't know any better. Because if we try to squish him with distractions like staying busy at work or substances or sex or whatever it is, if we try to squish him down and try to ignore him or just silence him, he's going to get worse.
He's going to pop off.
Exactly.
He's going to pop off. It's interesting because, like, as I mean, gosh, I could go there forever, but like the thing is like you mentioned earlier, like when you have reactions, or anybody has reactions, like for the audience, if you have reactions, right, or you're popping off, or your kid's popping off, and you talked about the caveman with me, but then you said that was your daughter's caveman. That may be the fix, because now that could be a trigger for me in a good way. If they're popping off, I'm like, that's their caveman.
There you go.
That's like, I won't say it's a trigger, but it's like a checkpoint. Like, okay, well now I need to be here for her, because I know what my caveman's like. I can't let mine come out right now. I gotta help hers.
There you go.
That's really cool, man. Yeah. Yeah.
The more we understand how our bodies really work and how our minds really work, we see it in everybody. And like, sometimes you got to be careful, because not nobody, but very few people want to have it pointed out in the moment. So you gotta have to keep it to yourself, be like, oh yeah, that's their caveman, or like, that's their past injury coming out right here in this moment.
Women love to point out your shit in the time, right there in the moment. It's like, not the time, babe, not the time. Can you wait about 7 hours? That's right. Like I'm shutting off my phone. I don't want to read the text.
That's right.
But look, man, no, I appreciate you so much, man. This has been so amazing and such a great experience having you here, and look forward to getting up to Tennessee to see you.
Let's do it.
I've got a lot of people up there in Nashville, so I need to get up there, but
come on, we'll get you some boots and jeans.
Yeah. Come on, man. Some Wranglers.
That's right.
I can't wear express jeans and Chucks on the cow pasture, huh?
Yeah. Your boots will show through the jeans. We can't have that.
But no, man, for the audience, obviously I know where to find you, but let them know, your website. I believe it's ruggedcounseling.com, right?
Ruggedcounseling.com. Yep. The book website is toughenough.com. Okay. And then, the socials are easy to find, just Rugged Counseling on those. But yeah, this felt like 15 minutes. So this is
we're going on an hour and 15, actually. Pretty close, right? Right, Ryan? Like about an hour? Yeah. I mean, we're killing it over here.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. And it's just, again, it was an honor having you here, and sorry it took so damn long to get you here, man. But
it's perfect timing.
Yeah, man. I just feel like it happens at the right time, and I truly, enjoy everything that you do. And when I get to see your stuff come up, I'm like, that's my guy. That's my guy right there doing it. You built such an amazing platform. I think the book's going to sell more than you realize, and we're going to put it in the show notes too, so that way the audience can, go check it out. Cause there's dads here, man, that listen to this show that, I think this book could really help their relationship with their sons or even their daughters. And not that it's broken, but like, it can always be better.
Always be better.
It can always be better. So dude, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother. Enjoyed it.
My guy. Well, there you have it, guys. My boy, Trey Tucker, broke me down. Gave me a counseling session literally on camera. And I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen. And I'm glad it did, because if I can show you guys that we all struggle and we all have our issues and things that we need to work on, our traumas, our internal injuries, as Trey likes to say, then we're all in this together and we're all normal. But, it's our job to really find out better ways where we can cope and counsel ourselves and be better for our children and better for all the people around us. So I just want to remind you guys again, go to thedeterminedsociety.com, sign up for the newsletter, please, and share this show with someone you know, love, and trust. Go follow my boy Trey at Rugged Counseling on Instagram. Go buy his book at toughenough.com and really consume what he's saying, because he's helped me out tremendously, as you can see. And I just think he's a great dude. And in my humble opinion, there's not enough good people right now being highlighted on social media. So let's start that wave of highlighting good people and giving love to where it matters the most. And until next time, stay determined.